Hi all, welcome back to Beauty Lady. Today I show you a braided hairstyle for school. It looks so beautiful and cute, isn't it? How do you see my story today? Have you thought about what to buy on Black Friday? Love all. Please listen to my story today.
Sugar Daddy helped me find out the truth about my life. Sugar Daddy relationship is probably something you've already heard of. But have you ever thought that they might help you discover secrets that have been buried for nearly 20 years? How about listening to my story to find out? My name is Layla, 19 years old. I grew up with a single mother. I had never seen my father ever since I was born. My mom said he died when I was still inside her womb. I didn't even have a picture of my dad to see what his face was like. Mom loved me, but was always strict with me, especially in romance matter. She often forbade me from all love affairs. She always reminded me not to let men play with my feelings. Stand up for yourself instead of leaning on someone else. I had just broken up with my boyfriend because he took my money, or rather, he ran away with the money I lent him. He was an irresponsible, unemployed guy. Every time we went on a date, I had to pay for both of us. Mom found out that I used my tuition money to spend on dating and giving my boyfriend. She got mad and announced that all my allowance, including tuition and living expenses, would be cut off. Heartbroken and stressed out from arguments with Mom, I called my best friend Misa to accompany to a bar to forget all my sorrows. There, I unexpectedly got a chance to meet Misa's special friends, old businessmen. Among the businessmen I met in the bar that day, there was an elegant man who paid special attention to me called Alan. He was also the best looking among them. Later that day, I received a text message from a strange number. It was from Alan. It turned out that while being drunk, Misa gave him my number because she kept seeing Alan staring at me all night. Alan wanted to invite me to dinner at a luxury restaurant. He said that he was very impressed and saw how different I was from the other girls in the Sugar Baby group, and promised to fully respect me if I didn't want to get into this relationship. Our first date went different from how I imagined it. Alan didn't seem like a player who knew how to understand and pamper women. Instead, he was confused and shy when he saw me. He confessed that I resembled the woman he loved so much when he was young, but it never finished properly. After that conversation, I almost became Alan's confidant friend. He seemed like a lonely man who had a lot on his mind, and all the other dates were simple like that. He also bought me expensive gifts, took me to fancy restaurants, and proved to be an absolute gentleman who respected boundaries. All those feelings I had when I was with him, I had never experienced with any boyfriend before. One night, we had a drinking date together in Alan's apartment. With alcohol, the two of us opened up a lot more. He told me he had broken up with his wife after a time of unhappiness, and I also talked with him about my harsh mother who forbade me from experiencing romance. Alan was about to kiss me when Mom suddenly called and told me to go home because it was too late. Alan immediately stopped and offered to take me home. After that day, I thought a lot. Did he stop because I lacked experience, or was I so ugly that Alan didn't want to continue kissing me? I was very sad and self-conscious. Is he gonna end this relationship? But it was strange because on the next day, it seemed like Alan was even more attentive toward me. He gave me more money, a lot more than before, not just gifts. He is truly a wonderful man. Every day after he drove me home, Alan would wait in the car until I safely got into the house. Not only that, he also parked the car in front of my house for a long time, longingly looking at my direction. Perhaps this gentleman was truly head over heels for me. He would go so far as standing in front of my house to look at me. I was reassured and stopped doubting that he was bored with me. My mother started to get annoyed when she saw that I kept being picked up by someone. She demanded to know if I was seeing a man, and she was also mad that Alan's car was parked in front of the house every night. She asked me to tell him to stop doing that, but I didn't oblige to her request. One day, my mother rushed out and told Alan that he was not allowed to go out with me nor park in front of the house anymore. I was so scared that Mom would find out about my secret old lover, not to mention it was for money. I hurriedly ran out and told her to stop, but she headed straight to the yard. Alan stepped out. The moment those two met, I thought they were going to explode at each other and I would die of shame. But on the contrary, everyone fell silent. Both of them looked at each other for a long time. Then my mother suddenly turned around, pulled my arm, and dragged me back to the house while I was still clueless about what was going on. Immediately after that, she prohibited me from interacting with this man. Apparently, there was something very strange about the two of them. The next day, from my window, I saw Alan's car stopping in front of my house, even though we hadn't had any date. Perhaps he wanted to give me a surprise? But before I ran out, I saw my mother step out of the house and get into the car, and they drove off. I was shocked. Just the other day, she prohibited me from seeing him? My mom stole my man? I ran outside and couldn't make it in time. The car had driven far away. I took a taxi and followed them to a coffee shop. I secretly sat near them and heard the entire story. Alan asked my mom so many questions. Why didn't you let me raise our daughter? Why did you leave? How has it been for both of you? My mom only cried and said nothing. I'm Alan's biological daughter? Impossible. I stood up and asked, "You're my dad? Mom, why did you tell me my dad was dead?" They were shocked to see me. Alan confessed that he was my dad. He was very surprised when he saw me at the bar that day because I looked too much like my mom when she was younger. He started to research and everything was clear when he accidentally saw my screen's wallpaper while my mom called me the other day at Alan's house. That was the reason he didn't do anything off limits to me. What he had done for me was just to make up for the lost time that he couldn't manage to take care of my mom and me. I was so surprised, but my mom only said, "No, this is not your father." Then she dragged me out of the shop and returned home. Mom was determined to prevent me from going back to Alan. She even took my phone so that I couldn't contact him. Although I tried to ask Mom for the reason, I was only replied with silence. She informed me of an unexpected decision. We would move out the following week. Alan arrived when we were packing. He stood outside the door and insisted that I was his daughter. I believed Alan. Based on the events from my childhood till now and my mother's odd behavior recently, I believed he was my dad, and there was a reason why they left each other when I was a child. I wanted to reconnect with my dad, and yet my mom stopped me. I rushed to the door to meet Alan, but Mom pulled me back and locked me in my room. She forbade me from seeing Alan. That night, I climbed out of my window to see him, but accidentally slipped and fell. When I woke up, I found myself in the hospital with my mother and Alan. At my firm resolution, Mom sighed and told me everything. It turned out she and Alan were lovers when they were young. He didn't have a career back then and was just a poor uni student. She had an affair with a rich guy behind Alan's back to have money to cover her tuition fee. When she found out she was pregnant, while Alan was happy and wanted to raise the baby with her, she was deeply ashamed. She knew that it was not Alan's child, so she decided to break up with him and left, giving birth and raising the child by herself. Over the years, Alan didn't know the truth and was still looking for my mother and me, and that's how we found each other. After learning the truth, instead of being angry at Mom, Alan still said that he loved her and wanted to support us in the future. And now, he has officially become my father. We're a happy family, but it actually took Alan a long while to win my mother's heart again. From being my sugar daddy, he's my real daddy now.